Oh, this is much better. Much better. All right. I'm starting up the stream about 5 minutes early just to trying out a new platform, YouTube Live versus Facebook Live. I'm just gonna message the wife and see if she will jump on. Ping the wife here. Okay, I see that you're on. Okay. Can you hear me? Does that work? Is it working? I'm saying something. All right. Hey, mom. Welcome. That's awesome. Yeah. So I'm glad this is working. This is looks like it's working a little bit better today. So we'll just give everybody a few uh, minutes to join up. Yeah, I think we're gonna get some thunderstorms here. So um, yeah. So hopefully power and everything will hold up. Okay. Um, okay. Am I coming across too soft or anything? Like my audio signal sounds or looks okay, but I can turn up the volume a little bit. Is that better? Let's see. Maybe I'll move the mic a little closer, but I got the gain turned up pretty high, so I don't want to. I don't want to be screaming at people. Oh, better. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. So we'll wait for folks to get started. It's got about one more minute. But I got some pretty cool stuff to kind of talk about today, I think. Um, but I did post on Facebook Live, I did post the recording from last Saturday's live session that wasn't live because Facebook, uh, for some reason, it just wouldn't publish my stream live for some reason. So I've kind of had it with their platform. This is way better already. Like I can see the chat over here; it's updating real time. So I think YouTube is going to be the platform streaming thing of choice going forward. So I think this platform will work well for us. But yeah, today, so it's 10 o'clock. So I want to be on time, respectful of people's time. So welcome to the stream here. If you're just joining for the first time, welcome. I do this every Saturday morning Central Time at 10 a.m. And I go for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Usually I can rant. I'm like, oh, I'll just start with like 30 minutes. And then I end up ranting and just verbal vomiting for like 45 minutes to an hour. So I just kind of keep going. Um, but yeah, go check that episode out because, well, let's just do a recap real quick. So I'm gonna flip over to my phone here, and hopefully you can see that. So did that change? Can you see my phone up on the screen now? I'm using a third party like OBS Studio to switch views and stuff like that. But can you actually see that phone there? Hopefully. Yeah. Let me do a couple things. Well, there's my text messages. There you go. Read all my text messages. I was gonna go to my Dexa real quick. So hopefully you all are seeing this. Uh, Can somebody put in the chat that you can see the phone? Okay. Oh, Jennifer says she can see it. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So if you didn't catch the last weekend's broadcast, rebroadcast, Jennifer and I went and had our DEXA scans done. So that's basically like it's like think of it like almost like an MRI, like a low fidelity MRI that shows like your skeletal mass or bone mass, lean body mass, fat mass, and it'll tell you where your fat is, where it's stored, how much of it you have. It'll tell you visceral fat, which is pretty cool. That's the fat around your organs that you don't want. Oh, let me change my phone into. Let's see. Let me change it into do not disturb here, because we'll just be getting. I had some problems with FedEx packages and UPS pack. I had 2 packages lost in the same week, back-to-back days, which was awesome. One of them was, I don't know what happened with UPS, but the package was absolutely rocked when I got it the next day. He said he delivered it, and it wasn't delivered, but so I opened a claim, and then the next day it came through smashed. None of my stuff was damaged. It was just kind of beat up a little bit. But I don't know if the driver was upset because I opened a claim, or if it just got put in the back of the bus or got smashed by something else. I have no idea. And then the FedEx person delivered the package to the wrong address on the street. Thank you to my older sister Rachel for helping me track that down. Through a little internet sleuthing, we were able to figure out where it was, and it was my neighbor down the street. He brought it back yesterday, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, so my biological age, it says I'm 32 years old. I'm not buying that BS for 1 minute. In fact, I don't tend to trust anything that you have to pay for that tells you good news, right? So like they're gonna tell you, yeah, you're 32 years old, but you have to pay for this. It's not very expensive. I think it was about $125, $150 each time you do it, which for this kind of fidelity. An MRI is only the next most accurate thing. So if you want kind of the scale, like if you're ever wondering about what your body fat is, from an accuracy perspective, I feel like DEXA is the best way to get it. When it comes to cost, when it comes to accuracy versus that cost, and also just the level of radiation you get exposed to, and then also the inconvenience, I'll call it. Like an MRI, you have to lay there for, I don't know about body fat and stuff or bone density, but when I've had MRIs on my shoulder, and I had one for my head, a couple different things going on there. Broke my shoulder, I fell on it. Fell at work. It was very embarrassing. But you have to lay there for like 30, 45 minutes. The DEXA scan takes maybe 5 minutes. It's basically like if you were to lay inside a copy machine or lay inside a scanner. This light bar kind of goes like up and down. It actually just goes down and side to side, so it just scans you from top to bottom. But I think this is probably the best way to get that information. If you can get MRI and get your insurance to pay for it, it's great. But otherwise, it's like $1,200, $1,500 to get an MRI, so it's pretty expensive. So yeah, they said that my biological age was 32. I think last time it said I was 42 or something. So hey, I'll take it, right? But from a body composition perspective, I think last time I was I was a B. And then this time I was an A+. And so you can see where my lean tissue is and where my fat tissue is. It's kind of interesting how I have fat accumulating on like my shoulders. I think this is my back. I think the way they show it is just kind of like weird. But yeah, I think I carry a pretty decent amount of fat on my upper back, lower back, middle back, etc. And then I have fat in my feet, which is pretty interesting. I don't. Oh, Jennifer can't chat in the YouTube. That's weird. Jennifer, you may have to sign in to do that. But anyway, yeah. So yeah. To recap, so last time my body fat was 22%. My goal this time, that was in June of 2024. My goal this time was to hit 8%. And I actually got 7.1%. So I smoked my goal big time, and I got down to 7% body fat. This is the part I was probably the most excited about, though. It says that I put on nearly 10 pounds of muscle in the last year and 2 months, which is ridiculous. Like, a 48-year-old guy putting on 10 pounds of muscle in 1 year is pretty unheard of. Do I think I actually put on 10 pounds of muscle? No, because the DEXA scan has problems differentiating between muscle glycogen and contractile tissue. So the difference between those things, if my muscles had more glycogen in them this time than last time, they would show bigger and more mass. So I'm pretty sure that I think some of this is water, glycogen, which is basically just sugar water. But heck, even like let's say if half of it was contractile tissue, building 5 pounds of muscle on my frame at 48 years old is outstanding. Um, do I think that I will be able to put on 5 to 10 pounds of muscle every week, every year from now on? No, I would say that's probably not the case. It's a law of diminishing returns when it comes to putting on muscle. But there are some freaks of nature dudes. My glasses look kind of crooked. There are some freak of nature guys that are able to put on muscle year after year after year like that, like Nick Walker. They call him the mutant. If you go out and look for that guy, it's pretty amazing. I think he put on 10 pounds of muscle for 10 years straight. So pretty unbelievable. But anyway, yeah, it says I put on 9.7 pounds of muscle, which is fantastic. I will definitely take that. And then the other thing I was really excited about is my visceral fat went down. I had 2.44 pounds of visceral fat. So that's the fat around your organs. That's the fat you do not want. It puts extra stress on your organs. It's not a good thing. I now have less than a quarter of a pound of visceral fat throughout my body, which is ridiculous. Like that is awesome. And then my T score, it's still okay. Like, so my bone density is still a little weird. Um, let's see if it'll show me where my bone density is. I can't remember where that is. Crap. I remember where it is. Body score, maybe? I don't know. Weird. I don't know where the other one is. Let's see. Maybe you got to click learn more. Yeah, there we go. Some of this is a little weird from my phone being my phone being in make that bigger. My phone being in expanded mode. I have a foldable phone, so that's probably why it's kind of going nuts a little bit. But anyway, so all in all, like I'm very happy with my result. So how have things been going since then? Well, I can tell you that um, I have definitely experienced some major negative consequences from getting that lean. And what's crazy is like bodybuilders on the stage, they get leaner than this. Like 7% would not be what's acceptable on stage. On stage, typically they're trying to get to 3 to 4% body fat to where, their glutes, their booty are striated so you can see lines through them. Usually their back has no fat on it whatsoever. Um, but honestly, like my goal was to try not to lose any muscle or as little muscle as possible, but while shred as much fat off as possible. Um, and, I think I would not have been able to achieve both of those goals if I had gone any lower than 7. And I'll show you like my rate of loss just stopped. Like it just totally stopped. I don't know if that means I was like recomping, which is when you're basically losing fat and gaining muscle, which is usually not possible during a diet cut phase like this. You can do it, if you're just getting started training and you've never trained before and you're losing weight. You can also put on muscle too. Um, but yeah, I don't know how they calculate the DEXA age. I'm not sure, but I don't put a lot of stock in that number. I'm mainly looking at the metrics. So because I think like Aura, my ring that I wear, this ring right here, says that I'm like 42. And that's mainly based on like heart health and VO2 max and some of those other cardiovascular type parameters that they use. Um, but uh, but yeah, I don't think that I could get down to 4% without just either like starving myself, losing a ton of weight, and doing just an ungodly amount of cardio. I mean, I was up to doing like 45 minutes of intense cardio every day there, and I wasn't losing any more pounds off the scale. Um, and you can actually see like metabolically, I adapted big time. So let me show you this. So this is something I was looking at. So this is Macrofactor. This is the app I use for my dieting. Um, you'll see like so this was kind of like my bulk, so to speak. Okay, so this is when I was intentionally putting on weight. And you'll notice, like, as I was putting on weight, I was actually burning a pretty good amount of weight too. So this line represents how many calories that my body uses per day. And so I was up to using like almost, or over 3,000 calories a day average. But I was eating, 32, 33, 3,400 calories a day. So I was putting on a half a pound to a pound every week. Um, so so I started my diet on April 14th, my birthday, and just watch this graph as I continued to diet. So see how the expenditure just drops. I had kind of a little bit of a spike on July 4th, but it really nosedived that last month. And I felt this too. Like this is when the scale stopped moving. Was end of July. Basically, I didn't lose. I think in like the end of July, and we can go look at it. But end of July, I was 159 pounds. I got down to 159, and I was only able to hit that once, and that was fully carb depleted. So that was like no muscle glycogen. I was flat as flat could be. I had no water in my muscles. I felt terrible. Um, but you'll see my body just hit the brakes on losing weight. And so like as I went on, my body used less and less calories. In fact, it's still going down. So you'll notice like just this week, let's look at the last week. I mean, I went from 2,600 calories. Now I'm only burning close to 2,500 calories. So my body is continuously ramping down energy use to try to adapt to this low body fat state. And that's what I'm kind of fighting right now is I'm trying to be careful about the rebound effect. And basically the rebound effect is basically my body is primed to put on a crap ton of fat right now. And that is not what we want, right? We want to, it's not that we don't want to put on any fat. We want to put on some fat, but we want it to be in a good ratio with muscle building. Now the problem is that my body is not really in the right state to build muscle right now. It's in a bad state, right? Like it does not want to be this lean. I can feel it. It's day to day. I can feel it. I sleep for the most part is pretty good. It's getting better. Bathroom habits are getting a little better. Libido is still smashed. I'm very irritable. Ask Jennifer. Very irritable. Just kind of pissed off all the time, and just things just kind of set me off. So very irritable. But I'd say the hardest thing I'm dealing with right now is my what's called hedonistic hunger drive, meaning I'm not hungry in my stomach, but every thought, every emotion, every tendency I have is to go eat. And when I start eating, it takes every bit of my self control to stop eating. Um, so this is something that I haven't experienced in my life before. I've liked to eat in the past, and I could put down a lot of food because one other issue that I have, and I think it's my ghrelin leptin hormone. Those are basically your hunger and satiety hormones. I think mine have been broken for a long time. I think my hunger hormone, ghrelin, is okay, but I think my leptin satiation hormone is totally broken, and it has been broken for years. I can eat myself sick because I can never feel that I'm full. Now, I'm starting to get that feeling that I'm full, but usually it's when I've eaten a huge amount of food. And I don't even think that it's like a brain satiety feeling. I think it's actually stomach distension. My stomach like sticking out is what triggers me to say, wow, I'm really full. I just don't have that feeling anymore. And I haven't had it for years. And so, people that say, hey, eat slower and just, wait till you're full. I'm talking hours. Like I ate 1,000 calories. Okay, so to give you an example, yesterday morning, I ate 1,000 calories at breakfast. And I'm not talking about like, it's easy to eat 1,000 calories at McDonald's, and that's not a lot of food. That's calorie dense food, right? I'm talking like whole food. So I ate, well, let's take a look at it. Like, I'll show you what I ate yesterday morning. But this will probably freak some people out. But this is what I ate yesterday morning. So in the morning, just to show you, I try to rehydrate first thing in the morning. So I am waking up around 5 to 5:30 a.m. every morning. That's kind of been going on since the middle of the diet, and it kind of has just been continuing. But I don't mind because um, I get up and do cardio first thing in the morning, and it just makes me feel good. It kind of primes me for the day, so I feel good. But I drink 20 milliliters of lemon juice in water and about 2.5 grams of salt. That's kind of my hydration drink that I drink in the morning. Um, and I drink that every morning. I also take cordyceps mushrooms. This is in a pill form. It's supposed to give you some energy. It's supposed to could be good for mitochondrial health. That's the powerhouse of your cell. I don't know. Like I've been taking it for probably like maybe 2, 3 weeks. I don't know. Um, and then I just started taking about 2 weeks ago. I take this peptide called SLU PP332, which is or SLU PP332. It's a experimental peptide right now, and it's good for mitochondrial health. I started taking it kind of towards the later part of my diet. Yeah, the cordyceps going to turn me into a clicker. Yeah, no, yeah, that's a Last of Us reference if you're not familiar with that show. But I started taking the SLU because I was worried about like my mitochondrial, my cell powerhouse just getting jacked up from less calories, plus energy and some other things. I was feeling like real low energy. In fact, I was having problems like wanting to get off the couch or the bed and stuff. I was just like, I could really just feel myself not wanting to move. And that's very normal whenever you start cutting calories big time. Um, so I started taking that. I can tell that gives me some energy, but it also has a bit of a crash. Like I feel around when I take it at 5 o'clock in the morning, I think the half life's like 3 or 4 hours. Usually around like 11 or so, I start to feel like kind of down, like I can feel myself down regulating a bit. So I'm still experimenting with this. I'm at very low dosage. I think I'm taking like 250 micrograms a day. You're supposed to take 2 doses of that, so 500 micrograms, but you have to take it while fasting. And because I eat 6 times a day, it's really hard for me to take it a second time during the day because I only have like 1.5 to 2 hours between meals, so it's hard to time that. I haven't kind of figured that out. I did take a fat burner yesterday. I kind of laid off this a little bit, but I'm having some water retention problems, which I'll show you in my weight. It's pretty crazy to look at my weight right now, but I'm having some water retention problems. So I wanted to take an extra hit of caffeine plus a little yohimbine to try to flush out some of this water, and it worked. I lost. Well, we'll go look. I think I lost over a pound last night while I was sleeping. I take a hydration drink, and this is what I drink. These essential amino acids, and this hydration drink is what I drink during my morning cardio because I'm sweating. Usually, this Eva burn right here, this fat burner here, is very potent. It makes me sweat like a cow. Does a cow sweat? It makes me sweat really bad. Then I drink electrolytes after I get back from the gym. This is more of a potassium weighted electrolyte. I try to keep my sodium and potassium pretty close together. I think I've heard people say that it should be 2 to 1 potassium to sodium. I don't know. I'm just kind of playing with it a little bit. But yeah, I digress. Let's talk about my breakfast. So I ate 828 calories for breakfast, which is totally insane. Like that is a huge breakfast for me. But here's what I ate. I ate 60 grams of oats, 4 grams of wild cocoa powder. I do that for the um, oh gosh, what's the name of the stuff in it? If you get like non-Dutch processed cocoa, I talked about this a couple weeks ago, but it's got um, gosh, I can't remember the name. My brain still hasn't fully recovered from this thing, from this diet phase, but polyphenols. That's it. It's got polyphenols in it, which are it's a good antioxidant. So I eat that. I eat a couple packets of Splenda in my oats. I added 52 grams of whey protein, which is 34 grams of protein, because I planned on just eating the oats and getting protein from the protein powder. I do like to start my first meal with a lot of protein, like usually 40 to 50 grams if I can. I just feel like it primes your body good for the day, gives you kicks off, muscle protein synthesis, mTOR, et cetera, and pushes your basically your body into a good state because you've been fasting all night. So getting those proteins in early, I think, is important. That's just the way I feel about it. Um, and then I had 80 grams of blueberries. That's also a good antioxidant. I had 7.5 grams of flaxseed. This is something that I've been adding in just for digestibility, a little bit of gut health, also a little bit of essential fatty acids due for that. Then I had my coffee, so I'm a big coffee freak right now. Like I love my coffee. I did have to cut it back. I was drinking like 3 or 4 cups a day. Now it wasn't all caffeinated. It was like two caffeinated, two decaf. But the problem was like all that, and I talked about this last week in the video if you want to check it out. The amount of cream, the amount of calories that's in like creamer, like you have to be really careful. So, and also Splenda, I'm adding like 4 to 5 packets of Splenda per coffee mug. Well, that's 13 calories. So if you do that times four, that's 52 calories right there. Plus your creamer is 34 calories. Do that times four. That's if you're on 17, 1800 calories a day, you're burning like 10% of your calories in like coffee. So you kind of have to be careful with that. But anyway, I had my coffee with it because I just like that coffee taste with the oats and stuff. It's just kind of like this Folgers moment or whatever it's called. Best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup thing. But I'm kind of a coffee snob. I drink this Highland grog. Now, this was decaf because this fat burner right here, it has a lot of caffeine in it. It's got about 300 milligrams of caffeine in it, which is a lot. And it tends to drive my blood pressure up a little bit. So I'm careful with caffeine first thing in the morning when I take that fat burner. So I went decaf on this. This Highland coffee from the Bones Coffee Company is awesome. It, I don't know, man. Like their coffee's really good. So anyway, I ate that whole thing, right? I ate the whole bowl of oats with the huge thing of protein powder in it, blueberries, flaxseed oil, all this stuff. And I was still hungry. Like I was ravenous hungry. So I went ahead and cooked 8 ounces of egg whites and one full egg as well. Now, after this breakfast, I felt full. Like my stomach was distended and I was full. But I only from muscle distension could I tell that I was full. I wasn't even satiated. I could have kept eating after this. And I think that's the real problem coming all the way back to what I was saying at the beginning. That's the problem I'm having right now is that I can't stop eating. When I eat, I want to keep eating. A funny story this morning, I picked up Riker, my son Riker from Jennifer and I's son Riker, I shouldn't just say mine. Our son Riker from a sleepover, and he's been asking me for a Sonic cherry limeade. So Sonic Diet cherry limeades has been my other kind of like treat during the diet, and now it just kind of continues. It's only 15 calories. You can get a Route 44 for 15 calories, and it's just I don't know. There's something about it that just tastes really good. So now like I spent like $4 a day on cherry limeades. I got to stop that because that gets expensive. But anyway, but this morning it was funny. I took him to get that, and I got him a pretzel, and then I got Jennifer. We went to Sonic, and they got those pretzel twists. So I got one for Riker, and then I got one for Jennifer. And I was like, today's kind of a higher calorie day. I'm just gonna try like a little bit of it. I ate the whole thing. By the time we got home, I had eaten the whole thing, and that's what's happening. Like when I take a bite of something that's good, I crush it. I just have to eat it all. It sucks. So So yesterday, but I did a good job. Like I stayed at 2,500 calories yesterday, which is a good day. You'll notice like I'm trying to stay around 2,500 calories, but there's some days I just lose my mind. So here's an example. I ate 3,300 calories that day. It's not a ridiculous, like, you notice I'm not eating a lot of fat. It's not a lot of fast food. It's just a lot of food, 380 grams of carbs. The day, but, and I, I'm noticing like the more I try to control it, the worse it gets. So notice like the day before that 3,300 one, I had a 2,200 day, and I had actually only eaten. I think this is total carbs, so this is including non-soluble and soluble fiber, which doesn't count as carbs. I think it was like 75 grams of carbs the day before, and I paid for this. My body was pissed. And it was like, okay, you think that's funny to eat 2,200 calories? Yeah, we're done with that, Jake. And now you're going to eat 3,300 calories the next day. So I'm having this massive bounce back problem where if I try to, if I eat too much one day, like this is what I was trying to do. Because I ate 2,600 this day, I was trying to eat like maybe 24 this day and try to get that average of 2,500. It's just not happening though. Like, see this 3,200 the day before, 2,600 because I ate 2,400. Then there was 2,800, 2,800, 2,200. See, so you can see it bouncing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I just, it's really hard for me to control my hunger right now. It's, I've never had this problem before. I've never had this big drive towards eating. And part of it is a lot of psychological warfare that my body's going through right now. So I'm starting to understand like how some of these bodybuilders have eating disorders. Like I could totally see how it happens. So think about it this way. So basically, I went from not being able to see my abs to be able to see veins in my abs. Okay, so like not only do I have abs now, I have veins in my abs. And so you just look sick. I mean, like I can see the fibers in my shoulders. It's a really cool, and the amount of suffering, honestly, that it took to get there. It's like it's like building a house and then burning it down. Like that's kind of like what it feels like right now. I worked so hard to get to this body fat percentage only to undo it, you know? And that's what they all say is like, don't get attached to this look because it's not healthy. Like being at 7% body fat, some people can walk around like that at 7% body fat and they're totally fine. I'm definitely not one of those people. My body is screaming that it is very pissed off. Um, but so you've got that psychological thing going where you're like you see yourself cut, abs and veins and striations everywhere in your muscles. You look like that life exhibit thing at the thing, and you just look cool. Like you work so hard, like all those days of like starving, basically. Like it sucks. Um, Now to basically risk throwing all that away, right? All that hard work out the window. And this is the other thing that's happening. So this is the DEXA scan right here. Okay. So that was 100, I was about 164 pounds right here. Look at what my weight has done over the last 2 weeks. So immediately I shot up the next day because I ate almost 5,000 calories the day of the DEXA scan. I went nuts. I ate pizza. I ate cinnamon popcorn. I crushed cinnamon popcorn. I was eating everything. Like everything I couldn't have before. I had lists of things. Like you make lists of things you're going to eat, like mental or physical, like written down. You make lists of things you're going to eat when the cut is over. And I'm very proud of myself about one thing. There's an apple pie that's been in my freezer that I got on my birthday from my in-laws. Thanks, Boss Mammy. It's still in there. And that was the number one thing I said I was going to eat when I stopped dieting, and I still haven't touched it. So there is like, I am proud of myself for like having some restraint, but I can tell you that the restraint is weakening fast. Okay. Like I was yesterday, I was snacking on like Fruity Pebbles and Cap'n Crunch, like just taking little handfuls as I was like reorganizing the pantry and stuff. It's so hard. It's just, Gosh, yeah, it's just so hard. But anyway, but yeah, so all this time the scale is going nuts. So like I had that big day, right? And then it tapered off a little bit. And then look at this. I went up like almost 3 pounds. Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 pounds in one night. Then I went up again. Then I dropped a little. And then I shot up. I almost broke 170, not even a week after the DEXA scan. Remember, I was 159 or 160 fully depleted. That's 10 pounds heavier, like 10 pounds. And yeah, a lot of it's from water, absolutely. But psychologically, like you're like, I'm losing control. I'm losing control of all the weight I've lost. This sucks. I'm going to be a fat booty again. Like this is not, all these things are going through my head. So I'm pulling back calories. All the while I feel worse. Like my body is just, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts. I've listened to a lot of videos. Like there's guys like Eric Trexler out there that do these kind of metabolic studies and talk about the fact that there's all these bodybuilders. Okay, so there's two schools, right? There's all these bodybuilders out there that are like, you have to reverse out of your diet, meaning you can't just go from I was eating 2,200 calories a day. You can't go to that to 2,500 calories. You can't do that. You have to start with 2,100 and then add 50 to 100 calories every week. Well, if you do the math, like in a month, I'd still only be eating 2,400 calories a day. Like that's a month. So the amount of discipline to do that, I, I don't think I have that, and not many people do. And that's the other kind of side of the bodybuilders. They say like, yeah, it sounds great to do that. It's called reverse dieting. It sounds great, but unless you are just a total freak of nature and have like no soul, basically, it's not possible. You don't have the discipline. No one has the discipline to do that. And I'm finding that to be very true. Then there's the other side of the people that are like, your body's in distress. You've been starving, like like war type starving. You need to get your body back to a healthy level of fat. And you need to do that as quickly as you can so that your body can go back to normal and you can start building muscle again because you can't build muscle when you're this screwed up, like you're this lean. So you got these two different worlds, right? That are like, go real slow and then, but you'll be able to put on a crazy amount of muscle as long as you do this. But if you screw this up, you lose all the chance of gaining muscle. You got the bodybuilder side of that. Then you've got this other side of the guys, like the scientist guys, that are saying, no, put on the fat, just get it over with. Put on the fat, and then get back to building muscle. So it's like, who do you believe, right? Like, what are you supposed to do? Well, I feel like I've kind of been in the middle of that. I feel like I've been trying to eat 24 to 2,600 calories a day. I'm still doing cardio every day, 12 to 15,000 steps every day. I've thrown in some step mill. I have dialed it back. I'm not doing 45 minutes on the step climber every day. That was kind of towards the end of my cut. I'm not doing that. But even 10 to 15 minutes on the cardio on the stair climber is shattering my legs. Like my legs are fatigued. I can feel it. Um, so I've tried to kind of stay in the middle road, and I can tell my body is still not happy. Like I'm not good. So I weighed in this morning at 166.6. Actually, bad luck. Wait, I should have eaten a cheeseburger or something and gone back on the scale so it's not 166. But you could see like it's just the scales all over the place. Like, but I'm hoping that water is starting to normalize. So yesterday I ate almost 2,600. I'd probably say it was 2,600 calories. And I was 166.6 this morning. So I'm trying to get into a good mental state to be able to basically say, okay, eat 2,500 calories a day, make that your target. But if you go over, screw it. Like just go over. And then on the days that you train legs, go nuts. Eat 4,000 calories that day. Don't, stop trying to kill yourself here. Like your body's in a bad state, dude. So that's kind of where I settled in yesterday. I think I made my peace with this thing. It's been 2 weeks as of today from my DEXA scan. I hit my goal. That's the other kind of piece that is a problem is I had this very fixed goal, right? Of 8% body fat. I will get to 8% body fat. I mean, taking pictures every day and comparing it every day and all these things. now my goal is, well, I just need to get healthy. But that's hard to measure. Like, how do you measure that? Yeah, I have blood work. That at the very end of my cut, I had blood work, and some of my liver and lipids are skewed pretty bad. Um, and now some of them are from the compounds I was using while I was cutting, and some of it's from stress, obviously, from being 7% body fat, which is not normal for me. So some of that's broken. So I will have labs probably in the next 4 weeks. I'm going to allow myself like a 6 week washout period where since for 6 weeks, I'm going to try to focus on getting back to my body back to a state of muscle building. That's kind of my goal. So in 4 more weeks, I'll pull labs, take a look at my lipids, my liver enzymes, and see if they've kind of gone back to normal. Everything else looks fine. It's just those two numbers. Blood pressure's great. Cholesterol went down even more, which makes sense because I was losing weight. It was already really low. It was like 90. Now I think it's like 60, which is not good. Blood sugar has been pretty good. Blood sugar, actually, I can pull that up. The one thing that's been going on with blood sugar that's pretty interesting is, oh, that's weird. I thought I had it in here. Huh. Okay. Here it is, clarity. Daily view report. So I've noticed that whenever I have those high days, my glucose fasting is like in the low 100s, which I don't like that. I like my blood glucose to be between 90 and 100 fasting. Um, it looks like I'm having some problems here. This is really hard to read. I apologize. I don't know how to make this. Yeah, I can't really zoom. But yeah, well, you can kind of see the numbers over here. But yeah, like if I look down here, let's see, it was Monday. Yeah, I was pretty good. But you can kind of see like it's bouncing between the low 100s and the 90s, depending on how many carbs I've been eating. So if I eat a lot of carbs, like it'll stay in the low 100s. But what I will tell you is I'm very insulin sensitive right now. So you see like the spike right here and how fast it goes back down. My insulin is clearing glucose like within 30 minutes of consuming carbs and sugars. Now there are some sustained ones, but that's usually self-induced because I hit it twice. So it doesn't come all the way down and then I hit it with more carbs. It's just meal timing, like this right here. But you can see me clearing the glucose really well. The bad thing is though, is that I'm still having hypo events. So you'll see it here. Like the other night, and we could probably correspond this to my eating. Like when I went low carb, I went hypo twice in the middle of the night. And then I went hypo during cardio. I went hypo a few times here. So I'm still going like hypoglycemic, which indicates to me that, and I went hypo this morning and I was just walking on the treadmill. Like my heart rate didn't get above 100 and I went hypo. So I'm still not like, I'm still like my body is still just needs to refuel, I think, is kind of the way I interpret that. Steps are still good. Don't pay attention to this. Yeah, that's totally wrong. But yeah, steps is good. Sleep is coming along. It's getting better. Let's see. I can show you that. This is that's just my exercise stuff. Yeah, but sleep last night was really good. Which is pretty surprising. Like I was really fighting eating last night. Like I was at 2550 calories, 2550 calories, and I wanted to eat again. I was hungry, but I was really tired, and I was like, well, if I eat, then I have to stay up because I have to let the blood glucose clear, and then I have to, shoot my growth hormone and then go to sleep. So I was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna eat. I've had enough protein today. I'm pretty good there. Everything's good. I'm just going to go to sleep. And I went to sleep and I got 7.5 hours, which is fantastic. Like I usually do not sleep more than 7 hours. So you can see 6:44, 7, 7:20, 7:08, 6:30, 7:20, 7:10, 6:50, 5:50. That was a tough night. I don't remember what night that was. Yeah, it was a rough night. But middle sixes usually. But you can see it's gotten better. Like I had one 7 hour one there, 6.5, 6, almost 7, 7.5, 7, 6.5, 5.5. Like it was all over the place, but it's starting to normalize now. But yeah, it's because Loki wasn't in the room asking me for the freaking bottle every hour, waking me up. But deep sleep's good. Like my sleep stages are fantastic. Like look at that, hour and 20 minutes of deep sleep. That's fantastic. Um, I'm getting hour 49 sometimes of deep sleep, and that's the growth hormone. Like straight up, that's growth hormone doing that for me. Um, Good REM. Every once in a while, my REM gets a little messed up. I think the growth hormone does a little bit of that, um, but yeah, still using growth hormone. I'm up to 3.5 IU, which is a little high, but I'm just trying to see kind of how high I can get without having symptoms of like water bloat and finger desensation and stuff like that. But anyway, so that's kind of where things are. Like I'm just trying to get back to healthy, trying to get back to normal. Um, but here's what as my last thing, I'll kind of share this with y'all. I think this is super interesting. This is something I've learned recently. Let me make let's make Jake little Jake in the corner there. All right, there we go. So there was this study done in World War II. It was called the Minnesota Starvation Experiment, and it was by a doctor, Ansel Keys, and basically they wanted to understand like what happens to the human body when it starves, and what's the best way to get that human body rehabilitated after it starves. And so they basically took 36 young men into this army base. And these young men were chosen because they did not want to go to World War II. They did not want to serve. So instead of, basically legally dodge drafting or draft dodging, yeah, draft dodging. They were basically trying to legally draft dodge. And so, they basically were like, hey, you don't want to go to war? Cool. But we're going to do this little experiment in Minnesota, and we'd like you to join. So these 36 dudes all got rounded up, got moved up to Minnesota. And basically for the first 12 weeks, everything was good. Like they were fed 3,200 calories. And this is kind of interesting. Like this is kind of a new way I've been using ChatGPT and generative AI platforms going forward, is that I read the study, but then I also ask questions about the study to ChatGPT, and then I kind of use my information on the study and ChatGPT to come to my own conclusions and double check ChatGPT. But basically, for the first 12 weeks, they were given 3,200 calories, which is a crap ton of calories. If I could eat 3,200 calories every day, like that's 700 calories more than I'm eating right now. That 3,200 calories is what I was eating during my bulk, which was a good time. I was eating a lot of good stuff. And then they were kind of checked. But then for 24 weeks, okay, so that's 5 weeks more than my diet. So I went 19 weeks. These guys went 24 weeks, and they cut their calories in half. So like this was even worse. Like I was eating like 20, at the beginning of the diet, I think I was eating like 2,400, 2,300 calories. Towards the end of the diet, it was a little lower, like in the 1,700, on low days, it was like 1,800 calories. But these guys got cut every day to 1,500 calories. That is brutal. And I can tell you this is brutal because when I first started losing weight back in late 2023, early 2024, this was my diet. It was 1,600 calories a day. And I wasn't doing carb cycling. I wasn't doing calorie cycling. It was 1,600 every day. And I was militant to that. Like if I go back and look at my Fitness Pal, I nailed that 1,600 every day. So I could tell you, I don't know how long I did that for. I'd have to go back and look at my notes, but it wasn't 24 weeks and it sucked. So these guys and it was mostly potatoes, turnips, bread, and some meat and dairy to mimic wartime European diets. So the participants on average lost 25% of their body weight. 25%. Like that's a lot. So if they were 200 pounds, they lost 50 pounds, 150 pounds. Here's some of the stuff they experienced. So extreme hunger and obsession with food. Okay. Yep. Had a little bit of that. Fatigue, weakness, reduced endurance. Definitely had that. Depression, irritability, social withdrawal. Yeah. Irritability, social withdrawal, I haven't had too much of, but depression, irritability, definitely. Decreased libido, definitely. hair loss. Now, I have lost some hair. Like I've noticed there towards the end of the diet in my sink, I was noticing more and more hair as I was like putting Rogaine in and stuff. Like I could see my hair falling out. Um, Edema, which is interesting. I, one thing you do when you are low calorie is that you drink more water and you crave salt. So I wonder if that's what contributed to some of the edema. Anemia, obviously, because they weren't getting enough iron. Low body temp and heart rate. So I can attest to low body temp. I was getting cold really easy, and in fact, I still have that problem. Like when I go into, I do this little run. I do HEB every morning, every Sunday morning. I go at like 6 o'clock in the morning, usually 6:30. I'll go to HEB because it's dead, like nobody's there, and I can just get stuff. And then for some reason, I have this like there's weird things that people do when they're doing like contest prep or dieting or cutting, right? Like some people watch cooking shows for hours. Like they'll just watch cooking shows. For me, it's the grocery store, and it still is. I love going to the grocery store, and I buy groceries that I don't eat. Like I'll buy like all this fun stuff that I don't get to eat. But for some reason, like I think it's probably the money spending thing. It's all food we're gonna eat, but like I don't know. I get this high off buying groceries. It's totally bizarre. But anyway, when I go in there, I've noticed really in the last month I can't go into the meat aisle because it's so cold and it bothers me. Like it hurts. So now I maybe know how Jennifer feels. Um, and then they did after that 24 weeks. They did 12 weeks of controlled and 8 weeks of unrestricted rehabilitation. So basically, they were given different amounts of calories and nutrients to see how they recovered. And what they found was basically adding calories was not enough. They had to add protein and vitamins. Duh, right? Um, Full physical and physiological recovery took much longer than expected. And this is one thing I'm hearing from a lot of people, and this is something I didn't expect, is that they said basically, some people are telling me it could be 2 to 3 months before you feel better based on what you did. And that's pretty hard to wrap my brain around. Now, I think that's probably based on getting down to like 3 or 4%, like contest stage weight. 7%, I think is going to be a little easier for me to bounce back, but we'll see. I'm 48 years old. I'm not like a 30-year-old kid like doing this. So it'll be interesting. Anyway, some findings there. Um, let's see. Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. I asked it. So one story I heard about this was if one of the participants cut off his own finger, and they did. But ChatGPT got pissed off at me, and I think they're cranking up some of the sensitivity stuff around this so that you don't like self harm. So I reworded it and I said, "Is it true that one of the study participants?" Note, I would never do this, but yeah, one of the men severed several of his fingers with an axe during the starvation study, or portion of the study, just to get out of it. And some people think that he did it because he was nuts, like he just lost his shit and lost his mind and just cut his own fingers off. But it goes to tell you like how much hunger can drive someone mad. Like and I can tell you it was a struggle for me. Now here is the piece where it makes me very careful. Is I asked it, when the participants were refed after low calories, what was the weight gain from fat? And basically it's like, this is what the heart of the experiment was. Basically, after they were fed, rapid weight gain happened, and it was not distributed evenly between fat and lean mass, which means they gained a ton of fat back. And that is what that's what has driven a lot of these bodybuilders to say, like, don't just start eating a ton after you get out of contest prep because you're going to put on a ton of fat. There is truth to that. And this experiment does prove that your body is in a state that wants to survive, and the way it wants to survive is to put on fat fast. And that is exactly what we don't want, right? I don't want to put on a ton of fat and then, be able to train hard for 2 weeks and then say, well, I'm too fat already. Like I'm back up to 20% body fat. Now I got to cut again. I don't want that, right? I want 6 to 8 to hopefully maybe even 9 months of continuous slow progress towards building muscle before I have to do it again, before I have to cut again. Mainly for I want to put on some muscle. I want to use this cycle as a benefit, right? And two, I don't want to diet anytime soon again. I think that should be number one. But really, I want to make some progress in the gym, right? And I haven't made progress in 19 weeks because I've been dieting. So I want to be very, very careful about it. Um, so yeah, now here's what's interesting. Some participants develop what today we call post-starvation hyperphagia. Now, this insatiable hunger leading to massive food intakes. Men often ate 5 to 10,000 calories a day. Um, so that I have this big time. Like that's why I can't stop eating right now. Is because my body is really trying to get to um, homeostasis. And in fact, if you look at like the people that lose weight through crash dieting and such, and then they go eat the way they usually do, there's a reason why they weigh more than they did before. It's because they've shocked their body and their body wants to put all that fat back on plus some in case that happens again. And so that is exactly what I do not want. I want to avoid that as much as I can. So fat, I want to put some fat back on because it's healthy and it's good for me and will make me feel better, but I don't want to overshoot. And so I'm trying to find that balance. And the problem is, who knows what that balance is? Nobody does. So I have to just kind of watch the scale. I have to watch the pictures. I'm taking pictures of myself usually once or twice a week, just to kind of check things out. But that's kind of how I'm controlling it. This is kind of interesting. The thing I did ask was during the refeed, were the participants strength training? And they were not. So I think that's the one other thing that I can control is that I am strength training. I'm doing a lot of weightlifting, right? So we're hoping that they were only told to walk 22 miles a week plus light activity. That's 3 miles a day. That's not very much. I walk usually 6 to 10 miles a day in steps. Um, so yeah, and and then I just kind of talked to a little bit about that. The other story I heard that was kind of interesting, and it turned out to be true, but um, some of the participants actually broke into the mess hall, the food hall, because they were so hungry. They broke into the food hall, and I guess they found these guys just stuffing their faces like in the floor in the dark. Like it's kind of sad, but yeah, they were actually caught sneaking sugar, raw vegetables, and even garbage scraps. I mean, so these guys were the psychological toll on these folks. I can't even imagine. There's also another study about based on the Biggest Losers. I think the people that do that find that yeah, it's very true that you gain a ton of fat back if you don't kind of control yourself after a massive weight loss. You're gonna gain it all back, and that's true. Like I think gain it all back plus some. I think that's even true if you wait a little while. If you just go back to eating the way you were before your diet, like you're just going to put all that weight back on plus some. For me, because I count calories, I weigh my food, and I've had 2 years of practice doing this. I'm not worried about getting back to 225 pounds, but what I am worried about is getting to 185 pounds in like 4 weeks and saying, "Oh, I got to go diet again." Don't want that to happen. So anyway, just wanted to share this with you. I thought it was really interesting, like super interesting study. Um, this one, the Biggest Loser one, I need to take a look at. But Eric Trexler talks about this study. That's kind of where I got it from. You can check him out on YouTube. Pretty interesting. These are all folks with PhDs that are way smarter than me. I just try to learn as much as I can. But anyway, I think that's enough for today. That's 55 minutes. I think the YouTube thing was a pretty big success. I see the chat going. That's awesome. Um, but yeah, I think we'll probably close it up here. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing good. I'm 2 weeks post goal achievement, or I'll call it goal blowout because I felt like I did blow my goal out. Um, I'm feeling better. I'm sleeping better. I'm gonna eat today for sure. I think I'm targeting about 2,800, 2,900 calories today. Tomorrow's a leg day, so tomorrow will be a heavy day too, a heavy eating day too. Um, I've eaten entire bowls of sugar-free Jello. Like I've ate a whole package. Like, and I'm not talking the little cups. I'm talking the package, like the whole thing. A huge bowl of Jello. I've done that. It's only 80 calories for the whole bowl, and tastes pretty good. So yeah, I have no shame in that. But yeah, I'm feeling better. Gym performance is okay. Like strength's still a little weak, but it'll get better. Um, Still irritable. Sorry, Jen. Libido still sucks. Sorry, Jen. We're working on it. But anyway, well, hope you guys have a good weekend. Hope you get Monday off. It's Labor Day, so it's a good long weekend. I took yesterday off too because a lot of stuff broke in the house I got to fix, so I'll be fixing stuff this weekend. But uh, anyway, yeah, thanks, AJ. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. If you have any questions, ping me in on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. Let me know your thoughts. Otherwise, keep up the great work. I know you can do it, and I will see you in the next video, live stream, or in real life. Talk to you later.